So I'm going to introduce some of the functions that create two-dimensional plots, such as like contours. So here okay, wait a minute. Why do I only have 1 GB of? I should have. Oh no, that is embarrassing. Because I already changed my plan. Okay, I'm really sorry about that because
maybe you prepared this more than 1 month ago, and then your account expired in 1 month.
But the subscription ends at today. Yeah, I'm really sorry.
Also, class, be also careful about the expiry date of your visualization learner subscription. You started subscribe yesterday, which is 16th of May. So on June 16th, your privilege will disappear, and then you will face what Jimmy is facing right now. Hopefully, you have already done the presentation, but the timing is embarrassing. The deadline of your report is something like 20th of June, but your account will expire 16th of June. So for the last 4 days before you turn in your report, you only do analysis work or documentation work. You cannot run simulations with non-free privileges. And free privileges is up to only 50,000 cells, and also just a little bit of computational load. So make sure you do all the experiments before the expiry date. Okay, Jimmy, I give it back to you.
Yeah, so yeah, of course, sometimes you reach the maximum of your memory usage, then you can, sometimes you need to close and turn and shut down the kernel and open this tutorial file again. So let me continue in this session. So here I assign the necessary variables that I want to plot to some variables so that I can easily call these variables when I need to plot them. So for example, I first assign the longitude and latitude variables to these things. And okay, so here is a trick to do 2D plots in matplotlib. So because so if you let me run this first, run this cell first. So if you assign this variable to here, it will generate a 1D array. But if you do this, it will actually generate 2 different 2D arrays for you to plot data. So this is actually what matplotlib needs you to input, because it needs you to input a 2D array of the x-axis and a 2D array of the y-axis. So this is what the array looks like. So this is the array of the x-axis, and this is the array of the y-axis. And let's go to one of them. So this is a 2D array with a dimension of this thing. And it basically just repeatedly have the same variable over the rows to, so that it has, you can see each row, they are the same elements, because it needs a 2D mesh that to represent that you can have a coordinate to each element of this 2D mesh. So you basically have a 2D array of both the x and y axis, and then the array for this one is like a 2D array of the shape of this longitude and latitude. And you need to use this to plot things in matplotlib, to create 2D plots in matplotlib. Okay. And these are the variables that I want to show show you. Yeah. So I just assign them to like, I want a time averaged temperature and want to convert the unit from Kelvin to degrees Celsius. So I just do some post-processing to it and assign this to a variable called T2M. So here so this is what I told you before. We need to create figure and access object to create any plots in the matplotlib. And after creating these objects, if you call this contour F function, it will help you to draw the color filled contours, which is something like this. But of course, it is like really simple, and you may want to add some more customization to it. So here are some of the examples of the customization. So for example, you have a color map. Yeah, you basically add the attributes to inside this function. This is the function of the contour F that I apply it to the access object, and this is the basic variables that I need to define to draw the things on the plot. So like X and Y, the coordinate information, and the temperature information of the coordinates. And then I define like the contour levels. Here you can see from the color bar is like -40 to 40, and then color map. Yeah, you will need to search online for more color map. Okay. Yeah. And then I set this attribute so that the values exceeding the range of these contour levels will also be filled with color. So if you didn't set this thing, if you have a value like -50 degrees Celsius, then you will have a color white within this area, maybe. So sometimes I really like to set this attributes. Okay. And then you want to draw a color bar to indicate the contour levels of your plot, right? So you add this function. And the trick of this function is that you need to tell the function which object you are creating color bar of. So I'm creating a color bar for this contour object. So I need to define it first. And then this is like a bunch of customization parameters you can add to make the color bar more favorable to your wants. And yeah. And basically the principles are very similar for contour plots. So I don't go into details. You may just want to look at the plot by yourself, and you try to look at these attributes and learn from what these attributes may mean. All right. Oh, and here you have, you have a contour labels. Yeah, maybe I should talk about the contour labels because, so yeah, if you just create a contour plot, it just draw the contour lines on the plot, right? But sometimes you may want to add some like the labels on the contours so that you know what is the values of the pressure. So this is the function that you draw the contour labels, and I specifically specify the format of the strings to this kind of format. So this is a function to format your string, and you may want to learn more about this in this website. Yeah, so it basically just tells you, it's like you tell Python that you want to make your string look like, okay, I don't want the decimal numbers after these numbers. I only want the integer part of this. So I just call this thing, this is a operator or function. Yeah, I just call this thing so that it recognizes my command and it only outputs the integer part of the numbers, and it will not output the decimal parts because, yeah, the original data has some decimal numbers. So you may want to look at this website by yourself. And here, this is a vector field plot because we introduced some of the scalar properties like mean sea level pressure and temperature, right? And we also want to visualize some of the vector data such as wind speed. So here is a trick. Okay, so let me just comment this because this is to add a quiver key. So here I have, so this is the basic things to create figure and access objects and to create the labels. And this is the main function to draw a quiver plot, the arrow plot. And you can see I apply this slice object to the array, to the X dimension array, to the latitude array, to the wind speed array. So basically, this is if you call the maybe a U10, this is a 10-meter wind speed, the zonal wind speed. And if you call the function of shape, it tells you the shape of this array. It is this dimension array of this dimension. So if you plot all the data on this plot, it will fill arrows within every single coordinate that you have in this array. So it caused the whole plot to become to be black. Yeah, it's filled with arrows, so it basically become black, and you don't have any information on the plot. So you need to choose part of the array to plot. So for example, I choose to skip. I choose to skip these elements I choose to skip these elements so that I only plot part of the data array from these two arrays. So for example, I skipped here. This is the whole thing, and it applies a slice object to the first dimension, and it is a slice object to the second dimension. And this is start index, and I didn't specify them. I just specified the step that I want to skip from the array. So I just skip every. Let me check what this is. Okay, so latitude is something like 700 something, right? And I divided it by 30 and make an integer of this. So I skip every 24 index of the array so that I can generate some useful information from the plot. So if you applied the slice object to this array and then call the shape, it only plots data from this kind of dimensions. So yeah, so you need to do this trick to show your arrow plots, okay? And then this is the way that I add the quiver key. So it is a reference, a wind speed of the key, and then this is the way to add this. So by this function, quiver key function. This is basically what a streamline plot looks like. I need to wait a minute because it is loading. Yeah, this is basically a streamline plot. And to make a streamline plot, the first dimension, you need to make the y dimension to be ascending order. So originally, this is the original array. The y axis is in the descending order, is from 90 to -90. So you need to make it to be ascending order in order to plot your streamline plot. So this is one of the tricks to produce a streamline plot. So you can see I make an operator like this to reverse the order of the y-axis. And here are some of the attributes. Yeah, I also add a color bird to it. So this is what you need to know about string matplot, I think.